Vibharti Durga Icha Narupama Piyascha Tesha Tesha. That Durga is this Durga is the spiritual Durga. You have Brahma Samhita with you? Anybody? In at least in mobile. So Brahma Samhita 5.44. Can somebody read the translation? Because then I have to do like this. Okay, I'll put that. Brahma Samhita 5.44. Why I'm just sharing this part of creation. If you know this creation, you'll know Canto 1 and 2 very nicely. This it's very interesting. So 5 point Brahma Samhita. Okay, can somebody read the translation I opened? Please.
The external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all people as Durga, the creating, preserving and destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conduct herself.
So this external potency, who's the nature of shadow of Chit potency. So the Durga is a shadow of Rama Devi. She's shadow. She manifests her shadow like this. And then this Durga is the spiritual Durga. If you read the last paragraph, see, Durga, you can read, it's on the screen. Durga worshipped by people.
Durga worshipped by the people of this mundane world is the Durga described above. But the spiritual Durga mentioned in the mantra, which is the outer covering of the spiritual realm of the Supreme Lord, is the eternal maid servant of Krishna and is therefore the transcendental reality whose shadow, the Durga of this world, functions in this mundane world as maid servant.
Okay, so her shadow comes here. So if you read sometimes Devi Bhagavad Puran, they say Durga is the source of all creation. They say no, so this is the part. So we'll study this. Okay, clear? So this Durga is a shadow. Okay, now Mahavishnu glance at Rama Devi understanding. She takes that glance and give it to Durga. Okay, so sleeping Durga is the Pradhan state. Everything is happening simultaneously. It is a personality also, and it's an elemental also. Like Adhishthan Maya and Adhishthatri Maya. Adhishthan Maya is the elements, and Adhishthatri Maya is the personality. So both are happening simultaneously. So Lord lying with Pradhan means the Durga is sleeping. And when he makes the Durga awake, means Pradhan to Mahat-Tattva state. And how it happened? And this glance is nothing but Lord Shiva, Shambhu. And this Shambhu is coming from, is the expansion from Sadashiv, who is in the Vaikuntha Lok, who is a Vishnu Tattva, that Sadashiv. She is a husband of Yogamaya. Then he comes here as Shambhu. Okay, and then Shambhu unites with Durga, then the Mahat-Tattva is created. So what is the difference between Pradhan and Mahat-Tattva? Oh, sleeping state. And Mahat-Tattva? Okay, anybody else? Pradhan is unmanifested material elements. It is material elements are there, but it is not manifested. But as soon as the Mahatattva is created, the material elements is manifested. Like if you have a corn soup, any soup, corn soup example, and if it is lying, the corn soup, you see the layer comes white and the ingredients are inside. But if you put the spoon and stir it, then the ingredients come up. So the ingredients which are lying not visible and a white layer comes, that's Pradhan state. And when you put the spoon and stir it, that is Mahatattva state. And then what is and Prakriti? And when these things are, this whole complete Mahatattva goes into each and every universe, that is Prakriti. Okay, so difference, understand? Pradhan, Mahatattva and Prakriti. Different stages, different name is there. One more example of a beehive. Beehive, whereas honey is not visible. So that is Pradhan state. And when honey is visible, that is Mahatattva state. But honey goes into bottle, big bottle, small bottle, that is Prakriti. Okay, clear? And within the glance, the living entities, time and ego. So because living entities, now here it is also further, it will come that Lord used the three modes of nature. So what is this three modes, how it works? The living entity is presence there. This living entity, because it is presence there, it is mode of goodness. And time, it is moving, that is mode of passion. And ego, that is mode of ignorance. Because how time acts, past, present and future. So what is in the presence is mode of goodness. It is 1/11th of a second. It's a blinking of an eye. Ahead of that is what is it? Future. Behind that is ignorance. So goodness, passion, and ignorance. So living entity is present there. Because of presence, goodness is there. Okay, and because time is going to agitate, it makes the thing moves. Everything moves due to time. So that is mode of passion. And ego. So Pradhan, for Pradhan, ego is added. So therefore Mahatattva is created. So ego is representing as Shambhu. And Narasimha Puran explained as creation start to every element, earth, because this is there in second canto, earth, water, earth's quality, smell. Earth has 5 qualities, smell, touch. For every qualities, every elements, the ego has been added. Okay. So this is the thing. So goodness, passion, and ignorance. So Lord creates this with these 3 modes. Okay, like this. So Mahavishnu does 6 type of creation. This you all know. Mahavishnu, first he does Mahatattva. Now see, the Mahatattva will be created. The elements are manifested. I cannot show, so these are the elements. Earth, water, fire. The elements are manifested. Mahavishnu creates. What happened?
That is within the egg.
No, outside egg. This will come. That is outside egg. This within the Karana ocean. What happened? So this is outside the egg, bro. This is outside the egg. 1 minute. Huh? Okay, this is outside the egg. So Shambhu unites with Durga. So Mahatattva is created. 1 minute, I'll show you. This is the Mahatattva. So what is the function? Now Mahatattva is what? What is Mahatattva? The total elements. Because Mahavishnu is lying with, the first canto you have read, no? In Bhakti Vaibhav, he is lying with 16 elements. What are those 16 elements? Can somebody remember? No? Huh? 5 elements, 5 knowledge acquiring senses, and 5 working senses and the mind. Okay, so he is with 16 elements. Okay, lying. And these 16 elements are manifested here. Okay. Where is spiritual Durga? No, this is Rama Devi and this is spiritual Durga. Where is? That is Sadashiv. See this Sadashiv Lok, na? This he comes as Shambhu through via Vidyam Mahavishnu, and this therefore it is called Mahakal. He is also called as Mahakal, and Mahavishnu is also called as Mahakal. Both. Till now, universe has not yet created. The universe, Mahavishnu does some six creation, then universe comes as golden form, and then they enter. So therefore, this is first creation, Karana Srishti by Mahavishnu. Then Karya Srishti, how he enters the universe with his expansions and potencies. If you want, I'll show. Otherwise, I'll continue for the text. I have no problem. Because Kanai Krishna, he was telling you teach creation, so I like to share. It is very detailed in Brahma Samhita. Like this is the eternal effulgence. Shambhu is a dim twilight. Prabhupada writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, one of the purport that Shambhu is a dim twilight. So what do you mean by that? Mahat-Tattva is also conscious. I was just coming. Now Mahat-Tattva is created. What are the characteristics of Mahat-Tattva? Mahat-Tattva, it is effulgent and it is conscious. So therefore Mahavishnu is conscious of because of through Mahat-Tattva in every of the universe. This is in Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's purport. Okay. So therefore I'm going slow so that you can get an idea. This is Mahat-Tattva. Okay. Now Mahat-Tattva becomes effulgent. Just see, it becomes shining. Why it becomes effulgent? Reason is because the living entity is there, plus ठीक है ठीक है अच्छा इसी में बट ये आ नहीं रहा नहीं हो रहा है One minute. Yes. Right. ठीक है नो प्रॉब्लम माय this Wi-Fi network they can hear no recording ये देखो क्या है। Okay. Where were we? Okay. So when Mahat-Tattva is formed, it becomes effulgent. Okay. Here were we? Okay. So it's not working. It's not working again. Take mobile and put like this. No? Not of us. Hare Krishna. Okay, so Mahatattva becomes effulgent and Mahatattva becomes effulgent and Mahatattva is conscious. Okay. And what after this, what happened? Mahavishnu, what he did now till now, he was lying with Pradhan. He glanced at Pradhan, then Pradhan changes into Mahatattva. So that glance is ego, means ego is added to Pradhan. Then Mahatattva. Now within Mahatattva, he created the Chaturvyuha. This is Shankar Vasudev, Lord of Consciousness, Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So this is Tritiya Chaturvyuha. Prathama Chaturvyuha is in the Golok, Dvitiya is in Vaikunta, and Tritiya is in material world. So this reference you'll find in third canto Srimad Bhagavatam. There in the purport Prabhupada writes that within this, what are these functions of this? So Shankarshan is a lot of ego, Pradyumna is a lot of intelligence, Aniruddha is a lot of mind, and Vasudev is a lot of consciousness. So these four functions is all there in your body also. Consciousness is there, intelligence is there, mind is there, and your identity as a body. You know, you identify as particular body, you're brahmachari, boy, whatever. So these things are there. So when you change your identity, you change everything. Okay. When you think yourself servant of Krishna, everything becomes change. Okay, this mechanism I will not explain. It is there. Vasudev, Shankarshan, Padyumna, Aniruddha within this creation. And this is used in your day-to-day life also. These four functioning. Okay. Again, some problem. No problem then. Some internet problem. Okay, then I'll explain at least. So I'll continue. Because and then I'll not able to finish chapter 5, complete 5 chapters in 8 session. Then I have to go very fast. So okay. So he's telling me to continue. So what is this Shankarshan? Shankarshan has 4 aspects. Okay. What are the 4 aspects? Shankarshan has knowledge of your identity, knowledge of your field, knowledge of the process, and knowledge of the goal. If you know this, then your sambandha is clear. Okay. Like for example, if you are a cricket player, what your identity will be, you're a cricketer. Field will be where you play cricket. And how the identity, what you are aware of that your identity is. If you are going in front of a mother, your identity as a son. In front of the teacher, your identity as a student. So accordingly, the field has been created, and then there will be elements within the field which you deal with, and there is a process how you deal with those elements, and and why you do this process to achieve a particular goal. So you have to have knowledge of these 4 things. Okay, example. Now you are here, you are a student, for example. So that's your identity at presence, and this will be your field, and your goal is to study Bhagavatam. And the process is what you are hearing it. Okay, but in spite of all this knowledge, you are not inspired, you are not interested. Will you able to sit here? Inspired, no. So that inspiration, desire, the intelligence which makes things move forward, that is Pradyumna. So Sambandha has 2 aspects, Shankarshan and Pradyumna. And then you practically apply this 4 aspects as a process, that will be Vasudev. You'll use your consciousness. And then you achieve the goal, that is Aniruddha, the Lord of Mind. So where the goal is experience, and then knows, yes, it's in the mind. Like if you eat prasad, where it is experiencing? Mind. Anything you experience in the mind. So there is experience also of Sambandha, there is experience also of the process, and there is experience also of the goal. So this can be used in a japa also. If you're sitting with the japa, what's your identity? If you think brahmachari, so that blocks your identity. If you think I'm servant of the Lord, and I'm servant of the Lord, and the goal is to chant, what will be the process? Taking the bead bag, putting the beads in the hand, and you're inspired. Why you inspired? To please Guru and Krishna. Then that field of activity becomes only up to you. Then if you think of something else, then the artificial field comes into it, then your chanting will not be focused. So this mechanism, why it is there, if somebody is chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasad, fine, doing seva, but still in spite of that, mind troubles sometimes. So these mechanics are used to train a mind to make intellectual. So this is called Sankhya in the sense. This mechanism is used. So this mechanism is used. So this is there in this, because we use mind, intelligence, consciousness. So if you are identity as servant of Krishna, everything the perceive it automatically changes. So Gita teaches it is not by sense control we be Krishna conscious. The many yogis are sense control. By strength of Krishna conscious, we become sense control. But that doesn't mean, you understand? That gives us simultaneously it works. Not because somebody is doing on angry sense control, but you are not Krishna conscious, then what is the use? So one should be Krishna conscious, then automatically he'll be. Okay. Automatically, if you think of Krishna and follow those principles of brahmacharya, then so these mechanics are used. Okay. Now, so he creates this 4. Why this 4? Now Shankarshan will be, the elements will be created, he'll be. So these mechanisms are there. Okay. Then Mahavishnu, after this Chaturya Mahat-Tattva is created. Now within Mahat-Tattva, then again their ego will be added. The false ego again. So this time the creation of false ego is there, because in this chapter, this 5th chapter, it will come Vaikharika Ahankar, Tejasa Ahankar, Rajasika Ahankar. So this is here. So this is the ego. So the ego is added to everything now, to the goodness. Then there will be Jnana Shakti. So my ego in first is Mahat-Tattva, second is false ego. Now third creation will be false ego in goodness. That is mind and sense devatas will be created. So these devatas are created by Mahavishnu. It is called Prakrata devatas. So its description is there in Canto 2 and Canto 3, chapter 6, 5, 20, 26 is there. And in Canto 2 is there. But demigods created by Mahavishnu. And then based on this demigods, prototype goes into other universe. So then Brahmaji creates. So this is Jnana Shakti. And ego in passion, this is Kriya Shakti. So with Kriya Shakti, intelligence, life force, and 10 senses, working senses and knowledge acquiring senses, not elements. Because intelligence makes the 10 senses move. What are the knowledge acquiring senses? Yes. Okay. So, and what is the working senses? Hands, legs, anus. So if you take mind, function is only accept and reject, and intelligence function is to discriminate. So in the mind, the senses are giving a lot of information. Now sound of some outside sound is going, this little sound is going, so many sound is going, but where your mind focus on a particular sound, if you are focused here what I'm speaking, then other sound goes behind that particular sound. There are many forms are also going. If you are looking here and there, these forms of this, it is going continuously, it is giving, but where the mind is focusing, you focus on that form. This I'm saying, what is it is focus, it goes behind. So mind just accept and reject based on intelligence, and intelligence discriminate based on the consciousness. Is it clear? Mind accept and reject. Based, I never give any class, no. So first time I'm giving here. I give there in Kunji Vihari. Here I never gave. This is first time. So anyway, so mind accept and reject based on intelligence, and intelligence discriminate based on your consciousness. For example, there are 4 bottles here. One is a liquor bottle, one is a health drink, juice, energizing, and one is a Charanamrit. There are 3 people. One is a drunkard, one is a sportsman, and one is a devotee. So based on your consciousness, things will happen. So mind will accept thing based on intelligence. So this is good, this is bad, this is the structure. Intelligence make the 10 senses move. Remember this. Mind just accept and reject. Savikalp and Nirvikalp. Like if you are going in a Mercedes, okay, from house to the temple, and the driver is driving. So you are like a mind who accept the destination, and the driver is the one who will take the vehicle slow, fast, medium. So that is the work of an intelligence. So mind accept and reject based on intelligence, and intelligence discriminate based on the consciousness. So if you are Krishna conscious, everything is good, and if you are not, difficult. So everything changes. Okay. So this is Kriya Shakti. So by Kriya Shakti, because these are the potencies who make it work, and these as Mahavishnu is creating as a wholesale in a big company, like this. So this Kriya Shakti, what is formed? Ego in mode of passion, intelligence, life force, and senses. Because life force is the one who makes the 10 senses move. If the life force is not there, I cannot even pick up this pen. How many of you agree with this? Life force, because in this chapter it talks about air, life force, prana. There are 10 kinds of air. If it is not flowing, then I cannot do. Everything becomes static, numb. Okay. And then ego in mode of ignorance is Dravya Shakti, elements and their attributes. So what are the elements are there? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Okay. So earth has 5 elements. Ether has sound, right? Yes. All the sound travels to ether. Then earth, water, fire, air, ether. Air has sound and touch. You see the air sound we can see here, and we can just feel the air. We cannot see the air. And then fire will have sound, touch, and form. You see fire you can touch. You can see the sound of fire, right? Agree or not? You are looking like this and I am speaking something else. At least you are agreeing or not. So like this, these qualities are created. So how many types of creation Mahavishnu is doing? Mahavishnu, first is Mahat-Tattva, then false ego in goodness, false ego in passion, and false ego in ignorance. 5 types is happening here. Now, Okay, see this? Dravya Shakti, this is the quality. Sound is a subtle quality of. So in the beginning, there was a sound, Tanmatra. This is there in sixth canto. Sorry, this same next chapter it is there. Okay, you see the slide. Touch is the subtle quality of air. So air has sound and touch. Form is a subtle quality of fire, sound, touch, form. And taste is a subtle quality of water. Water has sound, touch, form, and taste. And earth has sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So how this happened? See this, verse 25. From the darkness of false ego, the first five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form, the quality of sound, exactly as a seer is in the relationship with the scene. Because with the sound, definition of sound means you can see the person who's speaking. Like if I speak, oh, there is an elephant. So you can perceive the object also and the person who's speaking also. Okay, seer and the scene. Clear now? So two objects can be perceived. So how this is happening? By the glance of the Lord, time and external energy. See, this is in Bhagavatam 3, 5, 33 to 36. Thereafter, creation of the sky, the personality of God had glanced over the sky, partly mixed with eternal time, external energy, and thus developed touch sensation. So every time, first is sound, first is tanmatra, okay, then the ether, then the organ, ear. So like this. Then again, by glance of, for every aspect is creating glance of the Lord and external energy is there. Actually, it is happening once. Like if you switch on the light, the current is going and hitting the tube light and this is happening, but just soon as it is happening once. So similarly, when Mahavishnu breathes out, whole universe is coming. But here it is explained sequentially so that this steps are sequentially, this is also happening. But it is happening at once. Okay. So this is, so ego and passion, intelligence, life force, and the senses. So these are the 10 senses, knowledge acquiring and working senses. Okay. Now Mahavishnu, after doing this 6 type of creation, he creates the demigods. Now 6th and 5 we have done. He creates the demigods. These demigods are Prakrita demigods created by Mahavishnu. Okay. These demigods Mahavishnu create. What is this? Sorry, this is a 5th creation, mode of goodness, mind and controlling deities. So these are the controlling deities created by Mahavishnu, Prakrita demigods. Okay. Now the 6th type of creation will be what? Creation of dark. Now everything is created and everything has to be put into darkness. Like if you're sitting in a movie theater, so unless you put, now screen is there, projector is there, seats are there, people are there, film is there, unless you put into darkness, you cannot enjoy. So this, everything is put into darkness. So this is the 6th type of creation Mahavishnu does. Can somebody read this? Prabhupada writes this 3rd canto. Read.
In the purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 3.10.17, Srila Prabhupada says, after the creation of the demigods, all entities are covered by the darkness of ignorance. Each and every living being in the material world is conditioned by his mentality of lording it over the resources of material nature. Although a living entity is the master of the material world, he is conditioned by ignorance, by the false impression of being the proprietor of material things.
Clear now? Okay. So this he creates the Mahavishnu like this. Okay. So this will do. We'll go to the, what do you say? 1 minute. I will go to this. We'll go to the next verse. Then we'll explain. Okay. Read the next test. Next text. It's not coming. Text. Okay. Read. Okay. Kalad guna vyatikaraha parinama swabhavata karmano janma mahata purushadhishtitat abhut. Read now text. Now see, if you read, you will get an idea. Read the text after the, because it's not coming.
After the incarnation of the first Purusha, Karanodakshai Vishnu, the Mahat-Tattva or the principles of material creation take place, and then time is manifested. And in course of time, the 3 qualities appear. Nature means the 3 qualitative appearances. They transform into activities.
Now got? See, it is clear now. What are the principles of Mahat-Tattva or principles of material creation? All those ego, these are the principles of material creation. And then time. Time is also you saw. Okay. And then three qualities. You also saw goodness, passion, and ignorance. Is it clear? Okay. So this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that, see, time is the agitator of gunas. So Sridhar Swami explains agitator means within the gunas he creates the hostility between the gunas. So the one is this Bhagavad Gita 14 chapter says, no, one guna fights with another to become superior. It, so like this. So these gunas are created. Okay. It's not there. Okay, you have purport. Read that. Kala or time is a synonym of nature from there.
Kal or time is the synonym of nature and is the transformed manifestation of the principles of material creation. As such, Kala may be taken as the first cause of all creation, and by transformation of nature, different activities of the material world become visible. These activities may be taken up as the natural instinct of each and every living being, or even of the inert objects. And after the manifestation of activities, there are varieties of products and byproducts of the same nature.
Yes.
Originally,
Yes. So same nature. So these time factor makes the things move. Okay. Therefore, the time begins. Like some people sometimes it is said, no, everything begins from time. So that time during time of Mahavishnu, that is a universal time. Then the time also get, what do you say, dilated in every universe, and in every universe has different time. And within this universe also the different objects have different time. How many of you agree with this? Right? So like this. Okay, so text 23, read somebody. Or I'll Mahatasto Vikurvanat Rajasatvopabrahmitat Tama Pradhanastu Abhavat Dravyagyana Kriyatamakaha. Read the translation.
material activities are caused by the Mahat-Tattvas being agitated. At first, there is transformation of the modes of goodness and passion, and later, due to the mode of ignorance, matter, its knowledge, and different activities of material knowledge come into play.
So you understand Dravya, Jnana and Kriyas. By this PPT you got no idea, which is this is before the universe has been formed. So this is created by Mahavishnu because Karna Shashti by Mahavishnu. Okay. Okay, so these three gunas, Dravya, Kriya and okay, read the purport. Somebody want to read the purport?
Material creations of every description are more or less due to the development of mode of passion.
Why development of mode of passion? Can somebody guess after this? Why development? More or less due to the development of mode of passion. Material creations. Why? Pardon? Yes, Kriya Shakti. So what is the element in that Kriya Shakti? How the Kriya is happening by time. Because of time makes the thing move. Okay, read further.
The Mahat-Tattva is the principle of material creation, and when it is agitated by the will of the Supreme, at first the modes of passion and goodness are prominent, and afterwards the mode of passion being generated in due course by material activities of different varieties become prominent, and the living entities are thus involved more and more in ignorance.
What does this mean? The due course of by material activities of different varieties, because during Mahavishnu time the living entities are there, so they have the desire to do some activities. So for them, so these things are being created. The in a higher what do you say, higher form, but individually also it will be given to all living entities when they come out from Brahmaji, from Garbhodaksha Vishnu within the lotus. Okay, that will see everything. Okay, read further.
Brahma is the representation of the mode of passion, and Vishnu is the representation of the mode of goodness. while the mode of ignorance is represented by Lord Shiva, the father of material activities. Material nature is called mother, and the initiator of for materialistic life is the father,
Okay.
Lord Shiva.
Now got how Durga is mother. This will come further because Shambhu unites with Durga and then the whole creation starts. There is the ling is formed. But the ling is what? Because if you study Ling Purana and all, they say in the beginning there was a ling and it was very effulgent. That is Shambhu. Okay, and sometimes Mahavishnu is also referred to that ling. Mahavishnu comes, it goes away. This is in Brahma Samhita purport, and the ling is come and the ling disappears. And from that ling, they say Vishnu comes because Mahavishnu is effulgent. Now further Mahavishnu will do more creations. We'll see. Okay, now this is 6. Now we are studying Karana Shashti. When Karya Shashti come, he will make his expansions and they go into the universe. Okay. So father is Lord Shiva and mother is the material nature Durga. So they are both. So they are in Brahma Samhita. It is called the living entities are Maheshwari Praja because everything is created within Mahat-Tattva and Durga is the in charge of that Mahat-Tattva. That is the accommodating chamber for Durga. Clear? Because see, Mahavishnu is glancing at Rama Devi. That is spiritual. And then Rama Devi taking that glance and giving it to Durga. So Shambhu unites simultaneously, it's happening. Shambhu unites with Durga, that is material. So Durga and Shambhu, they take charge of complete creations. Is it? Behind that, there is a spiritual aspect, like ultimate cause is Mahavishnu, formal cause is Rama, material cause, ingredient cause is Lord Shiva, and the operational cause is Durga. Are you getting all these things? This cause, because why this is a shadow? Because living wanted to lord it over nature. So they want to be separate from the Lord. So they have to give some separate identity and separate thing, no? So therefore it's a shadow. This world is a shadow of the spiritual world. So when it becomes a shadow, like for example, there is a mirror here, and if I'm touching Prabhuji's feet, so in the mirror, who's touching whose feet? He is touching my feet or I'm touching his feet in the mirror? I'm only touching you. That's a reflection. So when you keep Krishna in the center in this world and practice bhakti, this world becomes exact reflection of spiritual world. But reflection does not mean false because Krishna is there. Reflection and shadow, the words in connection with the absolute is always real. And like Mahavishnu is creating, Prabhupada writes in Canto 1 purport, कि Mahavishnu is a dreaming. So Prabhupada writes like this: this dreaming is not an illusion. This dreaming is a factual representation of absolute truth. Our dreaming may be false, but Lord's dreaming is not false. Okay. So when we keep Lord Krishna in the center, this world becomes exact spiritual world. But when we want to be centered, then it becomes perverted reflection. Clear? Okay, read further. Okay, we'll go to next person. Okay, here it is. I'll just read the last. The gross material elements are Adi Bhutam, their maintenance is Adi Daivam, and their initiator material activity is called Adhyatmam. In the material world, these three principles act as prominent features, namely as raw material, its regular suppliers, and its use in different varieties of material creation for sense enjoyment by bewildered entities. So it is categorized. All these elements are created now. Adi Bhuta means things which is visible, like ears, eyes, body. It's Adi Bhuta. Adhyatma means some subtle behind that. So Adhyatma for us in relation it is spirit soul. And Adi Daiva means the controller of this thing. So three are interlinked as hyperlinked. And these three can also be used as a formula. Like Adi Bhuta Klesh is there, Adi Daiva Klesh is there, and Adhyatma Klesh is there. So in philosophy, every word has general definition, categorical definition, and its connection to Krishna. Like for example, Brahman. Okay. Brahman in Bhagavad Gita is used for 6 things. Bhagavan as Brahman, Paramatma as Brahman, Brahma Jyoti as Brahman, living entity as Brahman, sacrifice as Brahman, and Mahat-Tattva as Brahman. But there are hierarchy also. Okay. If you want, I'll give you a reference. This Mahat-Tattva is Brahman, 14.3. Mama Yonir Mahat Brahma. Okay. Then what sacrifice as Brahman, 4.24. In that Brahma Aganu, the sacrifice is Brahman. And then living entity, 8.3. Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Akshara Samadbhavam. The living entity is Brahman. Brahma Jyoti as Brahman, 14.27. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vayasya cha. Okay. Then Paramatma is Brahman, 13.13. Gyayam yattat parvakshami yad gyatnam asnat anadimat param brahma nasat tannas uchyate. And therefore, Arjuna in 10th chapter, verse number 12 said, "Oh Krishna, you are a Param Brahman." Because there are other Brahman also. Because Krishna is the Brahman. So Brahman, general word, what is the meaning of Brahman? Comes from the root word Brahman, means increasing, expanding. And Brahman also means spiritual. And Brahman used in this category, the changes. So similarly, Adi Bhuta, if you take a river, the Adi Bhuta will be the river. Adhyatma means the spiritual benefit of the river. And Adi Daiva means the demigod, Ganga. So these things, so in philosophy, when you know this definition, you can apply it. So this is one of the things. Okay. So like this Adi Bhuta is the ear, Adhyatma is the potency of hearing, and Adi Daiva is the controlling deity. Clear now? Why these things? Because we study in creation, I'll explain how this Lord, after creating this whole universe, then he creates the blueprint. If you study in third canto, it is why I'm giving, because second canto is linked with that. Because these things, second canto, are explained more in detail in third canto. Those part. Because there are creation is used now, 2 times the creation is there in this canto. Right now? How many of you know? Creation means, sorry, Virat Roop description, 2 times is there, no? Now it will come in 6th chapter. Previously also it is explained. And in third canto it is also there. Why it is there? So it is at the Brahman level, Paramatma level, and Bhagwan level. Therefore, because third canto, Maitreya Muni tells Vidura that how this whole creation is related to Bhagavan. Okay, and 6th chapter Purusha Shukta, that is the Brahman level. I'll explain. So just I'm thing. Okay. Read text number, okay, we'll go to text number 24. So ahankara iti prokto vikurvan sambhutridha vaikarika saijasascha tamasascheti yadbhida द्रव्य शक्ति क्रिया शक्ति ज्ञान शक्ति इति प्रभो. Okay, read translation. See, by this PPT, you are understanding this text, no? By Mahavishnu, how he creates. More detail is in Brahma Samhita. You can relate this with Brahma Samhita, verse 7 to 20. Okay, read that translation.
The self-centered materialistic ego, thus being transformed into 3 features, becomes known as the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance in 3 divisions, namely the powers that evolve matter, knowledge of material creations, and the intelligence that guides such materialistic activities. Narada, you are quite competent to understand this.
Understood now? This how it is? Dravya Shakti, Kriya Shakti, because all the Dravyas are created. So behind that, there is a potency. For object, there is a potency. Now this object is kept, there is a potency making that object exist. So that's Dravya Shakti for the elements and attributes. Kriya Shakti for the intelligence, life force, and senses. And what is this? Jnana Shakti for demigods and the mind. Mind and controlling deities. Clear now? So this is there. Okay. Okay, so read the purport.
Materialistic ego, or the sense of identification with matter, is grossly self-centered, devoid of clear knowledge of the existence of God. And this self-centered egoism of the materialistic living entities is the cause of their being conditioned by the other paraphernalia and containing their bondage of material existence.
So this is already created by Mahavishnu, complete package. And then it gets distributed. Garbhadaksha Vishnu goes with 7 principles. It's in third canto. Like Karya Shrishti, how he entered with this whole complete in each and every universe. And then he gives to each and every individual living entity. Okay. So Prabhupada writes for us that material in this prophecy, there is a creation by Mahavishnu, and then what are you perceiving today? So Prabhupada is giving what we are perceiving. Already it is created by Mahavishnu, according to translation. Okay. Okay, read, continue.
In the Bhagavad Gita, this self-centered egoism is very nicely explained in the 7th chapter, verses 24 through 27. The self-centered impersonalist, without a clear conception of the personality of Godhead, concludes in his own way that the personality of Godhead takes a material shape from his original impersonal spiritual existence for a particular mission. And
Yes.
this
So personality of Godhead takes material shape from his original impersonal spiritual existence for a particular mission. What does this mean? Means the Lord takes a material shape is called this Virat Roop. Okay, from his impersonal spiritual existence means from his Brahman effulgence. From there, because whole creation is created in Brahma Jyoti. This is also there. In second canto, might have gone in previous chapter, like it is word is used Swarochisa, that Brahmaji. It is there, no? Brahmaji is like just a gardener. Already it is created within Brahma Jyoti. Okay, read further.
And this misleading conception of the Supreme Lord by the self-centered impersonalist continues. Even though he is seen to be very interested in the Vedic literatures such as the Brahma Sutras and other highly intellectual sources of knowledge, this ignorance of the personal feature of the Lord is due simply to ignorance of the mixture of different modes. The impersonalist thus cannot conceive of the Lord's eternal spiritual form of eternal knowledge, bliss, and existence. The reason is that the Lord reserves the right of not exposing himself to the non devotee who, even after a thorough study of literature like the Bhagavad Gita, remains an impersonalist simply by obstinacy.
So much covering is there by the Lord, right from the beginning of creation up to here. Unless and until a devotee comes, then only those coverings get removed. Otherwise, not possible only. Thus, by himself, even studying Bhagavad Gita, the covering is not removed. Only by associating with devotees, the covering is removed. Okay. So then Prabhupada further he describes about the impersonalist people and how they are grossly ignorant about everything. Okay, about the impersonalism. The impersonal does not know the personal feature of the Lord. They may only they may know the Brahman and Paramatma feature. Okay. This ignorance, Prabhupada writes in the purport, is due to the Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and Dravya Shakti. Okay. Okay, read. Okay, text will go to text 25. Tamasadapi bhutadir vikurvanada bhunnabah tasya matra guna shabdo lingam yadrashtra drashayoho.
From the darkness of false ego, the first of the five elements, namely the sky, is generated. Its subtle form is the quality of sound, exactly as the seer is in relationship with the sin.
Right. Got? Okay, read the purport.
The five elements, namely sky, air, fire, water, and earth, are all but different qualities of the darkness of false ego.
Right. So we told you, last creation, darkness of false ego. So false ego is added to every creation. So all these things are manifested of false ego. What is false ego? Is false identity. You want to be separate from the Lord, these all false things are given. So because this is all shadowy. So but Prabhupada writes, if you be servant of Krishna, everything becomes spiritualized. Is there. This Mahamaya get transformed into Yogamaya. Because it's a shadow. Why it is shadow? Because the living entity is desired to be separate from the Lord. It's a shadow. When we desire to serve the Lord, it becomes transformed again. Prabhupada purports are there, lectures everywhere. Prabhupada says that when you try to serve Krishna, the same Mahamaya get transformed into Yogamaya. Spiritualized. What do you mean by spiritualized? Baldev Vidya Bhushan gives example of there is a dhoop. You have seen the dhoop completely burned, but the shape remains. If you just touch, it becomes. So the spiritual person's body shape is like this. There is no elements remaining. It is like this. So that is called spiritualized. Interesting, no? Okay. Yes, bro. Okay. Yes, Baldev Vidyabhushan gives example that how the body is spiritualized. He gives the example of a dhoop. When the dhoop is completely burned, so the elements like which dhoop consist, it becomes very powdery little bit, but the form remains. If you touch, it goes. So like the person, the pure devotee uses spiritualized. So his the earth element which he possesses is nothing. It's just like this. He gives example. It is spiritualized. Clear? Okay. Okay. Read. Continue.
This means that the false ego in the sum total form of Mahat-Tattva is generated from the marginal potency
See, from
of
where it is
Lord.
generated, marginal potency, because the living entity wants it. So फिर क्यों? Why this creation then? Okay. Okay, read.
And due to this false ego of lording it over the material creation, ingredients are generated for the false enjoyment of the living being.
So for whom? For the living being. False enjoyment. Okay, read.
The living being is practically the dominating factor over the material elements as the enjoyer, though the background is the Supreme Lord. Factually, save and accept the Lord, no one can be called the enjoyer, but the living entity falsely desires to become the enjoyer. This is the origin of false ego.
Now got clear now? How the living entity is the original, it's like he's the enjoyer. So therefore the false ego, because the false things has to be given to the living entity within this creation. If something is false, there might be true ego as a servant of Krishna. Right?
You are showing the diagram in that you in the beginning you said that along with the Mahat-Tattva, time, ego, living entity created.
So along with Mahat-Tattva, no, if you see the Mahavishnu is glancing, in that glance there is time, there is living entity, and there is ego.
Ego.
Three. So why ego? Because before that Mahavishnu is lying with Pradhan. So the ego is there. Why ego? Because the living entity wants to get all his, because he's coming out, he wants everything like false ego. So the false ego means false atmosphere is been created, and the atmosphere has to be in a particular time scale. No, something you are giving to somebody, it has to be in time scale for a particular period. So time is also there, but this is by in a Mahavishnu. Later it will be going to each and every universe. Is it clear?
So same thing we are studying here
Yeah, same,
sequentially.
sequentially. Exactly. So therefore I showed PPT earlier so that these things will be clear. Okay. Read. So when this Karya Srishti will come, then I'll again resume it. Okay, read.
When the bewildered living being desires this, the shadow elements are generated by the will of the Lord, and the living entities are allowed to run after them as after a phantasmagoria.
So why this shadow elements? Means there are original elements in the spiritual world. These elements, Sikand Puran says, these elements which is there in Mahat-Tattva or by Mahavishnu, actually in spiritual world they are gopis. They come here in Golok, they are gopis. They come here as Vaikunta in energies like Shri, Bhu, Ishana, Pravaha, all this Shakti, and this same Shakti come in Mahat-Tattva as elements. So one more reference you want in 6th canto Bhagavatam, the translation is there. If you want, you can put Ki Mother Lakshmi is the form of mind, senses, and elements. Why it is said? Mother Lakshmi means Rama. Lakshmi's form is there. So when you use these things of the world in Krishna's service, then becomes Lakshmi. When you use these things for your pleasures, it becomes Durga. Then you get reactions. It is there. 6th canto, I am giving you a reference. You search, it is there. Okay. Okay, read further, Prabhuji.
It is said that first the Tanmatra sound is created and then the sky. And in this verse, it is confirmed that actually it is so. But sound is the subtle form of the sky, and the distinction is like that between the seer and the
One
same.
minute. So I told you now from the subtle, it becoming gross. First the tanmatra, sound, the sky, ether, and then the organ here, like this. Main, then by Lord's glance, after ether is what? This earth, water, fire, air. So what is the organ for air? Is touch. So after organ is here, organ is created, then touch comes, then touch, then after touch, what is that? Air comes, and after air, the skin comes. So like this, from subtle to gross, the things are manifested there in Mahavishnu. Then he will go and take it into Hiranyagarbha. You just see it will come further. Remember all this thing. It's very interesting. Why I am giving you, then you'll understand what is second canto. Otherwise, very difficult. वो लोग समझता नहीं क्या है. Whatever I read, I'm not saying I know everything. Whatever I read from here, there from the big like Guru Jano, those who are devotees or proper disciple. So I'm just presenting. If something wrong is something you have good point, please share. Okay. Okay. Read further. Sound
The
is
sound is the representation of the actual object, as the sound produced speaking of the object gives an idea of the description of the object.
yes. So I told you now, if you shout something, you know the idea of an object and the person speaking. This is sound. Okay. Now we go to next verse, verse 26 to 29. Nabostha vikurvanat abhutsparsha gunanilah paran vyaya chabdavamscha prana oja saho balam vayurapi vikurvanat kalakarna svabhavatah उदापद्यात तेजो वै रूपवत् स्पर्श शब्दवत् तेजसस्तु विकुर्वाणात् असित् अम्भोरसात्मकम् रूपवत् स्पर्शवच्छम्बो घोषवच्छ परान्वयात् विशेषतु विकुर्वाणात् अंधासो गन्धवान् अभूत् परान्व्याद्रसास्पर्शा शब्दरूपा गुणान्विताः. Read. So this all elements and their attributes it's created. Just read translation.
Because the sky is transformed, the air is generated with a quality of touch, and by previous succession, the air is also full of sound and the basic principles of duration of life, sense perception, mental power, and bodily strength. When the air is transformed in course of time and nature's course, fire is generated, taking shape with the sense of touch and sound. Since fire is also transformed, there is manifestation of water full of juice and taste. As previously, it also has a form and touch and is also full of sound. And water, being transformed from all variegatedness on earth, appears odorous and as previously becomes qualitatively full of juice, touch, sound, and form respectively.
So why air? See duration of life. When so like air is there full of sound, basic principles of duration life. Because air circulation is there, then you can easily do sense perception. Your eyes blinking, this is because of air. There are 10 kinds of air who makes the hand moves, legs moves, evacuating. This is all there because of air. Because Vishwanath Choi Thakur says that the character of air is the prana, and Prabhupada also right, because the air is the most important element in the purport. Okay, read. Read the purport.
The whole process of creation is an act of gradual evolution and development from one element to another, reaching up to the variegatedness of the earth as so many trees, plants, mountains, rivers, reptiles, birds, animals, and varieties of
So
materials.
reaching up to, from Mahavishnu, reaching up to, it is coming to the trees and everything, this thing. And how these elements are transforming, who will answer this? Just now I explain. How from sound it is going, from sound, the ether, why, how it is happening, what are the principle? Just now I explained. And it was in the PPT also. From the third canto it was. because of the Lord's glance, external energy, and time. These three. This is not explained here. When Maitreya Muni is explaining to Vidura, then he says then how they are in connection with the Lord. There he explains these things. Okay? Here is just Karna Srishti just explained. Brahmaji is saying to Narad Muni, oh, this is happening. The Lord creates this. But there how it is happening, then it is because of the glance of the Lord. It is Canto 3. Okay. Read further.
The quality of sense perception is also evolutionary, namely generated from sound, then touch, and from touch to form. Taste and odor are also generated along with the gradual development of sky, air, fire, water, and earth. They are all mutually the cause and effect of one another, but the original cause is the Lord Himself in plenary portion as Vishnu lying in the causal water of the Mahat-Tattva.
Okay, stop. Got now? Creation is getting everyone? Remember this. Now, 6th chapter will again, these things will go into when Karya Srishti, after this 31 verse, Karya Srishti will show how it is going into each and every universe and how it is going into the Virat Roop. So, see in the 6th chapter, Purusha Shukta, the Virat Roop has tongue, all these things are explained. The Virat Roop, all these divisions, it is going there. And then it is manifested in this world. Okay. Okay, we'll go to next verse. That is. Okay, text 30. Vaikarikan manojage Deva Vaikarika Dasha Digvatarka Prachetosvi Vanindropendra Mitrakaha. Read.
From the mode of goodness, the mind is generated and becomes manifest, as also the 10 demigods controlling the bodily movements. Such demigods are known as the controller of directions, the controller of air, the sun god, the father of Daksha Prajapati, the Ashwini Kumaras, the fire god, the king of heaven, the worshipable deity in heaven, the chief of the Adityas, and the Brahmaji, the Prajapati, all come into existence.
So these are the mind and their controlling deities are being created. Okay. So all these for like Mitra for the anus, Prajapati for penis, and Varuna for tongue, Ashwini for nose. Okay. Read the purport.
Vaikarika is a neutral stage of creation, and Tejas is the initiative of creation, while Tamas is the full display of material creation under the spell of the darkness of ignorance.
What is Vaikarika as a neutral stage of creation? What is this Vaikarika means in the mode of goodness? Everything is presence. So therefore it is presence, just presence. Then move forward, is passion. Initiation is taking place. Getting all this? Okay. Read. Now how it is manifested here in this material? Prabhupada writes, the manufacture of necessities of life in factory. Read.
Manufacture of the necessities of life in factories and workshops, excessively prominent in the age of Kali or in the age of the machine, is the summit stage of the quality of darkness. Such manufacturing enterprises by human society are in the mode of darkness because factually there is no necessity for the commodities manufactured. Human society primarily requires food for subsistence, shelter for sleeping, defense for protection, and the commodities for satisfaction of the senses. The senses are the practical signs of life, as will be explained in the next verse. Human civilization is meant for purifying the senses, and the object of sense satisfaction should be supplied as much as absolutely required, but not for aggravating artificial sensory needs. Food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification are all needs in material existence. Otherwise, in his pure uncontaminated state of original life, the living entity has no such needs.
So has no such needs means like artificial in the sense in the material way. This is very much prominent, but in the spiritual life, the living entity much absorbed in serving the Supreme Lord. But there also they eat food, there also everything. But the main part is to serve the Lord, and that they get happiness. But here, because they are not serving the Lord, they get trapped into these things. Okay, read from this line: the Supreme Lord being supreme possessor of spiritual senses.
The Supreme Lord, being the supreme possessor of the spiritual senses, is the master of the senses, Rishikesh. Rishik means the senses, and Isha means the master. The Lord is not the servant of the senses, or in other words, he is not directed by the dictation of the senses, but the conditioned souls or the individual living entities are servants of the senses. They are conducted by the direction or dictation of the senses, and therefore material civilization is a kind of engagement in sense gratification only. The standard of human civilization should be to cure the disease of sense gratification, and one can do this simply by becoming an agent for satisfying the spiritual senses of the Lord.
So when you serve the Lord, this propensity changes. Read.
The senses are never to be stopped in their engagements, but one should purify them by engaging them in the pure service of the sense gratification of the master of the senses. This is the instruction of the whole Bhagavad Gita.
So whole thing is that when you use the senses in Lord's service, then Prabhupada further writes in the purport on other system, how the Gyanis, they deny the use of senses, this Gyanis and Yogis. But Bhakti, devotee, always tries to satisfy the Lord's senses. Okay, read text 31. Okay, sorry, I'll read the shloka. Taijasa tu vikurvana indriyani dasha bhavam ज्ञान शक्ति क्रिया शक्ति बुद्धि प्राणश्च तैजसौ श्रोत्रं त्वग्रहण दृग्जीव वग्दोर्मेद्राङ्घ्रि पायवः.
By further transformation of the mode of passion, the sense organs like the ear, skin, nose, eyes, tongue, mouth, hands, genitals, legs, and the outlet for evacuating, together with intelligence and living energy, are all generated.
So all these things are clear. So mode of passion, all these working senses, knowledge acquiring senses. Right? Okay, read the purport. Living condition.
The living condition in material existence depends more or less on one's intelligence and powerful living energy. Intelligence to counteract the hard struggle for existence is assisted by the senses for acquiring knowledge, and the living energy maintains himself by manipulating the active organs like the hands and legs. But on the whole, the struggle for existence is an exertion of the mode of passion. Therefore, all the sense organs headed by the intelligence and the living energy prana are different products and byproducts of the second mode of nature called passion. This mode of passion, however, is a product of the air element as described before.
So intelligence make the 10 senses move. If I want to pick up this, the intelligence tell you how to pick up. I cannot pick up with my finger like this, no? I have to hold it like, no, it should be a grip. So intelligence tells you. Till now, any problem regarding this text? Is it okay? So now the Karya Srishti will be happen. So I'll show you the PPT. So Lord will enter. Okay? Karya Srishti I'll explain. So any questions till now? No? Okay. So we'll proceed. Okay. Now Mahavishnu, what he does 6 type of creation. Okay. What are the 6 type? Can somebody repeat? Why I'm making you repeat? Because these are helpful in further, because all these things are explained even in third canto. What are the 6? First is Mahat-Tattva. Second, false ego. Third, false ego in goodness. Fourth, false ego in passion. And fifth, false ego in ignorance. And sixth is darkness of ignorance. After this, and where it is being created? Outside universe, but it's in the Mahat-Tattva and all this Pradhan, okay, everywhere. So this whole complete becomes the accommodating chamber of Durga. So within that now, Mahavishnu will create golden universes. That it is happening. Okay, so I'm sorry. He will create golden universes. It's in Brahma Samhita. So why the universes? When the universes are golden within the body of Mahavishnu, it is golden because it is spiritual. But when they come out in Mahat-Tattva, it is engulfed with all these elements. It is engulfed with all these elements. So this I have not shown. I'll show you. See how it is. So these are the elements. It is engulfed with, it's not working also. It is engulfed with all these elements. Okay. I'll show you 1 minute. So this is all happening in Mahat-Tattva. See, like one universe, it is engulfed. So like every universe is engulfed. Like if you throw ball in some white, there is a white big heap of clothes, and if you throw a ball, all the clothes are on the ball, but it is not uniformly, not it may be haphazardly formed. Like I cannot show, but I've showed the elements which are broken now. It is not nicely assembled. It will be assembled now. So it is all coming in accommodating chamber of Maya. Okay. And why it is golden? It is golden only when it is in the body of Mahavishnu. And when it comes out, it is engulfed in these elements. Now, golden means not from where these universes are coming. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj purport in that Brahma Samhita, he writes this golden universe and nothing but infinite spiritual world is there. Some regions in infinite spiritual world, some regions are reflected as universe. पढ़ो परपट में जैसे इनफाइनाइट स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड है 3/4, उसमें से कुछ रीजन्स है ना छोटे छोटे, दे आर रिफ्लेक्टेड फ्रॉम थ्रू थ्रू वाया मीडियम महाविष्णु, थ्रू हिज बॉडी इट इज कमिंग एज यूनिवर्सेस. दिस एरिया इट्स इन द purports. So because those limited want to enjoy, so similarly these concepts are there of anyway. So God, it is there. So now this is assembled. So what Mahavishnu will does, okay, after this happened, this is happening, universes are created. After universe, from Mahavishnu will take all those elements, okay, then he'll create a creative principle. This is called Hiranyagarbha from his left body. It is Brahma. This is called Hiranyagarbha Brahma. Hiranya means golden. Hiranyagarbha. This is not the four-headed Brahma. This is the creative principle. This is the second canto, cosmic creation. Because all these elements is there in this blueprint. We can call it as a blueprint when it is comes under Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And from his left side, Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Why left side? Because left side the spiritual potency is there. It is said spiritual potency always side at the left side. So that is. So then from this eyebrows, one Shambhu. And this Shambhu is a prototype of that Shambhu. This is not working. So he is a prototype of that Shambhu which is with Durga. Prototype. Okay, is it clear now? So this is till now universe has come out. Now he has created Brahma, Shambhu and Vishnu. So this Brahma is the Hiranyagarbha Brahma. It's not working. Okay, so he is a prototype of that. Okay. And now Lord will enter with the demigods within this universe. So it will not, he will enter now. I'm just showing how it enters. Till now the universe has not formed. I'm just showing they are prototypes, they enter into the universe. As Brahma, Vishnu, this Hiranyagarbha Brahma and Garbhodaksha. This is in third canto that Garbhodaksha Vishnu takes this Hiranyagarbha in his body. All these demigods also. Okay. Clear now? 1 minute. This slides are repeated again and again. Okay. The space between the universe is 4 billion miles. So 10 times of 4 billion, kitna tha? 40. That is Earth. 40 of 10, that is water. So like this you calculate. Each layer is 10 times the previous one. Now we come back. So this is okay. Elements. See, Durga will transform into goddess Kali. So Lord entrance into the universe with goddess Kali. So, but see why Kali? It is in third canto, second canto, I think so. Let's third canto. Lord entrance into Kali. Lord entrance into the universe with Kali. Actually, Lord always with his spiritual potency. Because for us, we perceive that potency as Kali. Kali means Jiva Goswami says that which combines. Now you see this elements is broken. This will be combined like this. Got now? See this. This will be combined like this. Now, how it will be combined? Now, Lord Vishnu, the Garbhodakshay Vishnu will be there. He will enter into the elements as Shirodakshay Vishnu with goddess Kali. And he will combine. How will he combine? Now there is earth. Take element earth. Now 100% earth. Okay. Then the element earth will be divided into two parts, 50-50. Okay. 50% will be in the layer. earth layer. A remaining 50%, it will be divided into 4, 12.5, 12.5 and 12.5. So remaining earth will be attributed to fire, 12.5, then water, 12.5, then air, 12.5. And what is the remaining fourth one? What? Earth, water, fire, air, air. To air, 12.5. So like this, if we'll take air, air will be divided into 2, 50%. So on this layer, it will be 50% earth, and remaining 50% will be within the creation. 12.5, 12.5. Like this, it is divided. It is called Panchkarani. Okay. Is it clear or not? If people are looking at me, I'm just wondering how it is. So Lord, I'm getting fearful. They're looking like this. The Lord's enters into Goddess Kali. These all have references are there, so don't worry. It's all there in Brahma Samhita, commentaries by Jiva Goswami. It's all there. Now the universe is lying. It is said the universe is lying. An assemble happens by Lord's Maya Shakti, Goddess Kali. And then Lord is residing as Garbhadaksha Vishnu within the universe, sleeping. Then from his perspective, the ocean is there. And then he creates this. You saw from Mahavishnu's body, the yellow Hiranyagarbha comes. Its prototype is going into the universe. Agree? Okay, its prototype. And then that goes with Garbhadaksha Vishnu. It is this one, Hiranyagarbha. So in this body, that is the Virat Purush, Hiranyagarbha. Okay, in this body, that is the therefore Garbhadaksha Vishnu is called Hiranyagarbha. You know this Hiranyagarbha Shukta? Hiranyagarbha Samaratadate Bhutasya Jata Katireka Asit. In the beginning, there was Hiranyagarbha. It was very shining. Actually, it is Lord. So Lord creates in the body as Hiranyagarbha. So when he creates in the body, thousands of years, he creates the Hiranyagarbha, and then he gives the Hiranyagarbha within the lotus, like this. Then it comes as a Virat Purush. So for the Lord, it will be blueprint, but for the Brahmaji, it is a real creation. So Brahmaji's subtle body is the Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, Brahmaji is also called as Hiranyagarbha Brahma. This becomes Brahmaji's subtle body. And this whole creation, which is the Virat Roop, which is based on this subtle form, this is Brahmaji's gross body. So Brahmaji is act like a soul, and there from Garbhadaksha Vishnu, the super soul goes. I'll show you. So this Hiranyagarbha, when it was created within the body of Garbhadaksha Vishnu, all the demigods started praying. You saw? They sit on the eyes, Surya Devata, all these devatas, and they're praying. But the Hiranyagarbha, his universal form was not working, not moving. Unless and until Shuddhadaksha Vishnu enters, then only the universe works. So when Garbhadaksha Vishnu creates Hiranyagarbha, the living entities, all these creation are there in the subtle form, in the blueprint form. Why blueprint? It is a blueprint for Garbhadaksha Vishnu because he is the higher dimension. For the Brahmaji, if you see third canto, when Brahmaji creation is there, he thinks of lotus flower, immediately it comes. Okay. So this Brahmaji is, see, this is a subtle, whole creation is within the, like this, the Hiranyagarbha. Okay, you have 10th canto, there is a chapter called Krishna entering Mathura. Akrura during that time do prayers to Lord Krishna. Oh Lord Krishna, all these activities are happening in your universal form. And it's like I'm picking up, I'm making, this is actually there, the programmed in the universal form. Therefore it is here. Like we say, once I went to I go to one Ayurvedic doctor event some years before. So he was saying, this whole universe is within this 3 dimension, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. He was saying, so he was asking me why. I said because it is there in the blueprint, in this Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, it is there. Okay. So if it is not there, like some people they see Spider-Man and all, man and spider half. If it is not there in Hiranyagarbha, it will not come. It will not come. Even if they put this blood in this blood, whatever they do, it will not come until Shuddhadaksha Vishnu does not make it happen. So therefore, this Virat Roop. And further, this Virat Roop is also divided into departments. It's like Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik, all these things. This Virat Roop is divided. A Virat Roop hai all these elements created by Mahavishnu, remember? 5 knowledge acquiring senses, working senses, sound, touch, smell. But it has to be divided into proper compartments. So this is in Bhagavatam, Canto 3, the chapter is Universal Form, verse number 7. There he says that Lord Maitreya Muni is telling Vidura that Lord divides this Hiranyagarbha into departments. So these departments are Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. So Adi Bhautik means elements and their attributes. Adi Devik means that the, what do you say, the mind and all this sense devatas. He divides all this into those things. Plus the tongue and all these things are divided. And based on that, Brahmaji will create this. 1 minute. Oh, okay. And now here this, see, it is not moving. So Shirodaksha Vishnu enters the universal form. So Brahmaji is the soul. Shirodaksha Vishnu is the super soul. And this Hiranyagarbha is the subtle body. And the Virat Roop is the gross body. Oh, this, don't see this. Virat Roop is the gross body. Okay. This Virat Roop, see, this is a subtle form. And then this gross Virat Roop. And this Virat Roop is nothing but qualities and energies of Krishna. This is the universe. This is the Virat Roop. If you want the reference, it's in the 5th canto. With description of this, it is said the Virat Roop is the combination, is made from Lord's qualities and energies. Okay. This table and all, this table has qualities. This is energies. So energy is manifesting certain qualities. So this is there. So this Virat Roop is there. So this, why this 2nd canto is named as cosmic creation? Because of this. How this, within this cosmic, this Sarga, Mahavishnu creation is also Sarga, and this Garbhadaksha Vishnu creation is also Sarga. So this is called cosmic creation. Cosmic means whole cosmic is because of this Hiranyagarbha. Got? So if you programming, so within this Hiranyagarbha, all these things are happening. Living entities desire because so all this functioning is there. Based on the desire, all these things. Any questions till now? This is only lotus, and what we are staying the round, this is not the universe. This is the complete 14 planetary system. Pardon?
Beyond this universe, part of universe remains still
Which universe?
like
Space, space. Within that space, that whole universe means complete Brahmand, and where we are staying Earth, that is also we refer to as universe. Okay, so this Brahmand, which we say, within that, this space is that, within that space is complete Virat Roop is there, this Hiranyagarbha. See, what is the difference between Hiranyagarbha, Vishwaroop and Virat Roop? Vishwaroop is showed to Arjuna and Virat Purush. है ना, 3 चीज नाम है ना. Hiranyagarbha means is a creative principle. It's very subtle. Okay, that Mahavishnu does. Okay, and Virat Purushes means like if you are wearing a jacket, the jacket will have the shape of yours, no? Or if you wear some cloth on your body, and it will have that shape. So Garbhadaksha Vishnu is also called as Virat Purusha. The Virat Purusha, because Jiva Goswami says it is based from Garbhadaksha Vishnu, it is Kalpanik. The Kalpanik, he gives 2 definition, direct and indirect. Direct means because it is based on Garbhadaksha Vishnu, therefore, he's saying it is directly in that way. Another word, it is said that because Virat Roop is this perceived as by other people as some personality, that is indirectly. So like this 2 way. So this is Virat Purush, and then with what Arjuna saw is a 3D model of this Hiranyagarbha. Like you have a house. So before making a house, you make a engineering blueprint, no? Before making a house, you have a desire. I want a bungalow. So then to bungalow, you'll make it into a map, structured map. This. So when you have a desire in your mind, that desire stage is Mahavishnu, creative principle, Hiranyagarbha. When it comes to Garbhadaksha Vishnu, then you create a map of that house. As an engineer, draw the map. Now this house should be this, there should be this compartment. Okay. But when Arjuna saw, so that bungalow's model will be also there on the table. So that Arjuna saw is the 3D model of this Hiranyagarbha. Everything with time and everything. Is it clear? 3D model means that is real in the sense, is from one pore, but it was like, personality complete. Clear now? That was this one only as a 3D model. So this, he creates this universe like this. Is it clear, bro? There are things are there, but if you do Brahma Samhita completely word by word, then I understand. So this is the structure, Virat Roop. Okay, there is fifth, 1 minute, I'll go to folio, then I'll show you one verse which show you that this this Virat Roop is qualities and energies of Krishna. Wait, I'll show you. See, there is a verse in 5th canto. Somebody can read loudly. इसमें नहीं आ रहा है. But why? Because this second canto, even seeing the universal form, we can remember Krishna. Okay, canto 5, chapter 26, verse 38. Can somebody remove? Because it is not coming here. Canto 5, chapter 26, verse 38. 38. So there you read the second line. The translation. This vast form, see it is.
This vast form is considered the external body of the Lord.
So what is this vast form? Universal form or the Virat Roop? Okay, read further.
Created by his energy and qualities.
Understood now? See, I gave you Bhagavatam reference. So whole universe is Lord's energies and qualities. If you want more detail, but it will be more shocking. So, but this much is okay for digestion. Because, okay, clear now? Then I'll explain further when you go how this universal form at Brahman and Paramatma level. What is Brahman level? What is Paramatma level? What is Brahman? I'll explain. But till now it is okay? Okay. Where it is? 1 minute. Okay, so we proceed. Okay. So this is how Brahmaji creates. So this is Brahmaji's gross subtle body and that is gross body. So Brahmaji comes to know everything within the universe. So we have two Brahma till now. Hiranyagarbha Brahma and Chaturmukh Brahma. So this is in Laghu Bhagavatam. The Hiranyagarbha Brahma is a creative principle and Chaturmukh Brahma is the his duty is to manifest the 4 Vedas. And there is another third Brahma, which is called Vairaj Brahma, which stays on Mount Meru, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. All the sacrifices done, it goes to this Vairaj Brahma. Okay, 1 minute, I'll show you. See, here it is. It goes to that Vairaj Brahma sitting on Mount Meru. So in 10th canto, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that Bhudevi went to this Brahma on Meru. If it would have gone to Satyalok, there so many times, so many yugas would have gone. Like Kakudu Muni went to Brahmaji. Brahmaji was told to wait for 2 seconds or something, some seconds. Then many yugas went. So Bhudevi went to this Brahmaji, which is called Vairaj Brahma. Vishwanath Thakur, 10th canto commentary, you can check. Okay. So this is the creation happening. 1 minute, I'll go further. Okay. So this happens. So he entered with his universe with, what do you say? All this subjective portion, they are prototypes. So there is expansions and like this PPT, you know, I'll just bring this like this one. He entered into all this universe with this subjective portion. Okay. His expansions, his potencies, and this Hiranyagarbha is divided into different departments. And based on that, whole creation has been manifest. Therefore, it is called cosmic creation, which is there in the Lotus, 2nd canto. 1st canto, creation by Mahavishnu, Sarga. This creation, 2nd canto is also called Sarga in the sense this is creation by Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Is it clear now? So we go to our text. Okay. Where is the text? Okay. Now from text 22 to 32 to 35, Karya Shrishti. So I'll just finish this. There are only few verses are there. Okay. Okay, you have text 32. Yadi te sangata bhava bhutendriya manogunaha yada yatana nirmane nasekur brahma vittama. Read translation. Oh no, Narada.
O Narada, the best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature are not assembled.
Now got? So it will be now assembled everything like this. 12 and a half and all those things. Okay, this is car. Okay, read purport.
The different types of bodily construction of the living entities are exactly like different types of motor cars manufactured by assembling the allied motor parts.
So these motor parts are already created by Mahavishnu and it will going to align by Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Simple. But if you want to go more detail and subtle and think how this then makes more subtle points and join, you'll get more information like this. Okay, read further.
When the car is ready, the driver sits in the car and moves it as he desires. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The living entity is as if seated on the machine of the body, and the car of the body is moving by the control of material nature, just as the railway trains are moving under the direction of the controller.
Yeah, so who is this? Who makes the 18.61? Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddesha Arjuna. Which Hriddesha or Ishvara? Which Ishvara is in the heart? Huh? Shiradaksha Vishnu. So unless Shiradaksha Vishnu enter in the universe will not move only. Do whatever you want to do. So there are three Vishnus. What are their functions? If you take a rose, the ingredients of the rose is, okay, there is a verse in Gita, हमने फिर read, Satvata Tantra, Vishnusthu Trini Rupani, Purushakyani Atha Vidu, Ekam Ta Mahata Shashtir, Ditya Anda Samsitam, Tritya Sarva Bhutastam. One who knows these three Vishnu, they are liberated. This, so we all know. So what do you mean by that? You can liberate in the sense we can remember Krishna everywhere. Once, one devotee, I forgot his name. He was asking Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj some question. Who goes to stay in Mayapur? I forgot his name. Huh? Pandurang Shanto. So he was telling me, Maharaj told him, okay, what do you see there? She pointed towards garden. He said, okay, Maharaj, flowers are there. Okay, go more specific. Oh, red color, blue color flower. Oh, rose is there. Then sunflower is there. Go more specific. Oh, they are having leaves. Go more specific. Can't you see Vishnu there? So I said, how? See, seeing means what? There are two kinds of seeing. One is that which is revealed, like Prahlad Maharaj could really see. And one is intellectually you see. For example, this laptop is there, this is mine. And if I'm going there, just by seeing the laptop, what you see? Oh, that personality, right? To intelligence makes you show something. So similarly, because of functions of Vishnu, if you take a rose, the ingredients for the rose is supplied by Mahavishnu. And the rose is attractive. Attractive or not? Still it is matter. It is attractive. Because why it is attractive? It is qualities and energies coming from Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Therefore it is attractive. Now, if you see Mercedes going, it is attractive. No? Don't say no. It is attractive. Just generally people get attracted. If you see a floor, when I came into that room, now it's so amazing. It is really attractive. Nice, like I've never gave a class. It's such a nice chairs and seats. So it's very attractive because what you get attracted to, the quality, the smoothness of the chair, the table's finishing. So these are all qualities we are attracted to. So because they are coming from Garbhodaksha Vishnu. So the attraction for the rose and elements is because Garbhodaksha Vishnu is the basis of this universe. And the rose is moving, growing, and the fragrances, all these things are manifesting because of Shiradaksha Vishnu. So, and who is this Vishnu? These are the three Paramatmas. Paramatma has three. So this Paramatma, partial manifestation of Krishna. So therefore, Vidura, Maitreya is telling to Vidura, this whole creation is connected with the Supreme Lord. We cannot deny this. You can remember Krishna in every sphere of life. Like always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So always remember means chanting, taking darshan, reading Bhagavad Gita, but never forget Krishna when you are outside. Sometimes for some seva you go. So how can these are all connected to Krishna? We have to give practice and do sadhana, then these things are perceived. Like we can understand. So the mind, rather than not thinking of Krishna, better you think of Krishna, which is beneficial. And actually it is there only. I gave you a reference. No? If you want more reference, I gave you 6th canto, everything. Mother Lakshmi is the form of these things. But constantly you don't think, you bring back our consciousness to Krishna. Is it clear? Is it? It's like if you see, some material thing, but you constantly don't think, oh, it is Krishna. No, you bring back and think of Krishna, don't get distracted. Because when attraction, before attachment, the first is attraction. So if you break there only, otherwise the attraction will lead to attachment. So because we are attracted to something, why we are attracted, we should think. because these are actually qualities and energies. The spirit soul cannot be attracted to matter. Prabhupada writes, when or he speaks in Hare Krishna, some I heard somewhere, soul cannot be in with the body, like, oil and water. Incompatible. Okay, because it is Krishna. So even George Harrison Prabhu, he writes in Krishna book, we are attracted to Krishna directly or indirectly. Directly as a deity or Lord, indirectly through his creation. Okay, read further.
But the less intelligent material scientist cannot understand. The living entities, however, are not the bodies, they are separate from the cars of the body. But the less intelligent material scientist cannot understand the process of assembling the parts of the body, namely the senses, the mind, and the qualities of the material modes. Every living entity is a spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Being. And by the kindness of the Lord, for the Father is kind to his sons, the individual living beings are given a little freedom to act according to their will, to lord it over the material nature. Just as the Father gives some playthings to the crying child to satisfy him, the whole material creation is made possible by the will of the Lord to allow the bewildered living entities to lord it over things as they desire, although under the control of the agent of the Lord.
So these are the agents, like other agents are there, no? Lord Shiva, Durga, all these are the agents of the Lord. Under the agency, he does whole creations. Okay. So this Prabhupada writes further, the living entities are exactly like small children playing in the material field under the control of maid servant of the Lord. So who is the maid servant now? It's a spiritual Durga. And what is the relation? Baldev Vidyabhushan says in Tattva Sandarbha, what is the relation of Durga and internal potency or external potency and internal potency? That external potency, like if there is a king has his queen in her inner chambers. And there is a maid servant who does in the outer chamber, but she is not allowed to interfere in the inner chamber. So that is the relation between Mahamaya and Yogamaya. Clear? Baldev Vidyabhushan gives in Shri Tattva Sandarbha this relation. When Vyasdev sees the Lord, no, Bhakti Yogena Manase Samyak Pranahite Amale, he saw Yaya Sammohito Jivo, he saw Lord with his internal potency and external potency behind. In that commentary, Baldev Vidyabhushan writes, what is the relation between internal and external? External potency Durga, that is the maid servant of the Lord. She is in the outer ring or outer chambers, and internal potency is the inner chambers. So maid servant is not allowed in the inner chamber. So we are given a Prabhupada writes, they accept Maya or the maid servant as all in all, thus wrongly conceive supreme truth to be feminine or goddess Durga. Shakti, they say. The foolish childlike materialist cannot reach beyond the conception of maid servant, because Durga has 10 hands. If you read in the 10 hands are the 10 samskaras, which the living entity has to follow. It's all controlled by material nature, that is Durga. Okay. But the intelligent grown-up sons of the Lord know well that all acts of material nature are controlled by the Lord, just as maid servant is under the control of master, the father of the undeveloped children. So those who are devotees, they are developed. So they are under internal energy. So they know that what is the reality? Everything is working under the guidance of material nature. Sorry, here, but material nature is working under guidance of the Supreme. Okay, when you know this, so there is a third chapter, no? Tattva Vittu Mahabaho. So this is the tattva when somebody knows that how everything is working. Okay, so we go to text 33. Tada samhatya chanyonyam bhagavad shakti choditaha sad ashatvam upadaya chobayam sasjar hai adaha. Read. So this is karya, everything is assembled. Read.
Thus, when all this became assembled by the force of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this universe certainly came into being by accepting both the primary and secondary cause of
So here the Panchakarani, how this earth and all, they are being assembled. 50-50, I told you, that is being assembled. So Sridhar Swami says all the Samasti and Vyasti bodies. Samasti means complete and Vyasti means single individual bodies and universe, both are developed everywhere. Whereas Garbhodaksha is entering, he is not entering in one universe. I showed one. He is entering into many universes. Okay. Read the purport.
In this verse, it is clearly mentioned that the Supreme Personality of Godhead exerts his different energies in the creation. It is not that he himself is transformed into material
So
creation.
his energies, what are philosophies? Our philosophies, Tat Shakti Parinamvad, the transformation of Lord's energies. So these are the energies. Okay, the Shakti concepts, the Mayavadi don't accept the Shakti concepts, they don't have. Okay, read further.
He expands himself by his different energies as well as by his plenary persons. In a
So you got this sentence, he expand himself by different energies as well as by planetary portions. Different energies and expansions mean like this Lord Shiva, this Garvadaksha Vishnu, all those things. Read further.
In a corner of the spiritual skies, Brahma Jyoti, a spiritual cloud sometimes appears, and the covered portion is called the Mahat-Tattva. The Lord then, by his plenary person as Mahavishnu, lies down within the water of the Mahat-Tattva, and the water is called the causal ocean, Karana Jala. While Mahavishnu sleeps within the causal ocean, innumerable universes are generated